Okay, boys and girls, now that we've learned about Sarape blankets, we are ready to do the first step of our Sarape blanket. So here's an example of what it might look like when it's done. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we leave a strip at the bottom so that there is room for the fringe, okay? So that means that on the bottom, like right here, we are not going to glue anything down, okay? Then we're gonna go and we're gonna pick out some colors of strips of paper. You don't need like a lot of them, probably like maybe 5 or 6 stripes, because we're not gonna cover up the entire paper. And you also get to pick your color of paper that you want for your background, okay? So you want like a variety of like thin and thick strips, and just know that the background paper is going to also be part of the design. So like here we have the green background paper, so it was like part of the design as well, okay? So we're going to glue these strips of paper across our paper so that it goes from edge to edge, okay? So you can see that this is in the portrait, okay, orientation, which means that it's taller than it is wide, okay? So it's this direction. These strips are meant to be glued across this way. So you can see that it touches edge to edge, okay? We're not gluing them this way because look at this way. We can't glue them this way because they don't touch edge to edge, okay? We want to glue them from edge to edge, okay? You can have whatever colors that you want. Remember, about 5 to 6 stripes of paper is all you need. And you can do some thick ones and some thin ones if you'd like, okay? So we're gonna leave this bottom edge, this bottom portion right here blank. We're not gonna put anything on there. And then we can pick a strip of paper that we want to use. So say I wanted to use this thicker yellow strip, okay? So I'm not gonna glue it any lower than about here. You can maybe come just a tiny bit down, but you want to have room for that fringe, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to open my glue bottle. So when we open my glue bottle, we're going to go this direction, okay? And we are going to do dot, dot, not a lot. So we're just going to gently squeeze our glue bottle, just these little tiny ant-sized dots, okay? It's very important that we're just using little dots because we don't want a bunch of glue to be seeping out all over our Sarape blanket. We want to make sure that our craftsmanship is good and we don't have extra glue everywhere. So just little tiny dots, okay? So I'm going to glue this so it touches each edge. And then it's going to do a quick, just like this. Just gonna quickly press it down. Okay, now we can go ahead and we can do our next strip. It can be whatever. What I would do is I would leave a space, so a slight space, okay? And we are gonna be painting in between all of these strips and spaces, okay? So keep that in mind and maybe pick something different. So maybe I wanted to do this one. Okay, kind of like that. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dot, not a lot, just little ant-sized dots across. So I have about 5 little tiny dots. So I'm barely squeezing my glue bottle when I'm doing that, and I'm touching my glue bottle to the paper, but I'm not like going like this on my paper with it, so that, because if you take it and you go like this with your glue bottle on your paper, what happens is it closes the glue bottle, okay? So we're just gently squeezing, making those dots. Right, and then I'll grab my yellow. Maybe I'll do something like this. You can see that there was space between those 2 colors that I just glued on. Okay, see there's a space right here. You can see there's no glue coming out because we're not using a lot of glue. We're just using a little glue. These thicker strips, I'm just going to use 2 little dots on one little dot on both sides. Okay. I might line this one up with the top. So I decided just to use the 4 strips. You can use a little bit more, but you need to make sure that you're leaving spaces between your strips so that your original color is showing through, and make sure there's enough space that we can paint designs. So for instance, on here, like we're painting like some designs, okay? So that is our first step of our Sarape blanket.